And after entering into the official internet service provider website for altering our router settings, we first click on the network which we are accessing, and then I've entered into LAN, local area network, because WLAN, we are connected to WLAN, and even though it's a wireless, we need to change all the settings in the LAN. And in LAN we can see LAN IPv4 configuration, and it's just to set up our IP addresses, and it depends on our interest whether it may be static IP address or dynamic IP address. It depends on us. And next, LAN IPv4 reserved IPs, and this one I have already configured for my particular Raspberry Pi device when I connected my device for the first time to this network, and I have assigned this particular IP address to my Raspberry Pi, and this is the MAC address of my Raspberry Pi. And MAC address is the address which is physical address provided for the particular physical device, and the IP address is the position or a particular address of that particular device in the network. IP address is the address of the particular device in the network, and MAC address is the particular address of that physical device. And usually when we do it for the first time, we will get an IP address which is a dynamic IP address, and when we boot for the second time, the IP address will be changed because it is a dynamic IP address. The DHCP server will assign dynamic IP addresses for the devices which are connected to its network. So in order to connect our router forever to the device, we need to put a permanent IP address for our device, which is a static IP address. So in order to do that, we need to copy the MAC address, and then we need to enter into the security, and in security we need to change the IP address, and we need to configure the IP address as per our wish. And I have configured the IP address of my Raspberry Pi, as you can see on the screen, 192.168.29.48, and this is the static IP address of my Raspberry Pi. And even on n number of boots, the Raspberry Pi IP address won't change at all. Actually, in Windows machine, this what to. And as you can see it on the screen, sudo apt -get install, it is the command for installing the remote desktop. Actually it's xrdp, and with the help of this command we can install the remote desktop, or if it is pre-installed, then it will get initialized. And usually in a Windows machine it is already predefinedly initialized. Without this command we can initialize the device. It will ask to continue whether yes or no, and we need to click on yes, as we need to configure it. And you can see the status here: 61%, 62%, 63%, and this is the status of XRDP being installed and initialized in our Windows machine. It will take a couple of minutes of time. And as you can see, after the successful installation of remote desktop on our machine, and we can see the completion of it, and we can again see the field for providing some commands for our next step.